Hi, welcome to Lunchtime Live with Sharon Galluzzo. It is Tuesday again. My goodness, the weeks just fly by, I think. So, of course, we're live, and when you're live, things happen. So, today someone's doing yard work. So, if you hear a little background noise, I apologize because that's what happens whenever it's live. Last week, I dropped the whole phone. So I'm really happy that you're here. I'm going to talk for just a minute while people are notified by Facebook and can come on. It sends out a notification that we are live. So if you are here, make sure that you let me know so I can give a shout out to you and say hello. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, type them in. It'll pop up on my screen and I'll be able to see it so that I can respond to it. I really love it when you all participate in our conversations here, although it's kind of a one-way conversation because it's Facebook Live. But I do like to hear from you and hear what you're thinking. And it is, God goodness, it is almost Christmas. It is December 20th. On Sunday it will be Christmas. This year has absolutely evaporated really, really quickly, and we are all getting ready for the big festivities this weekend. In the studio, we are typically closed Christmas Day, and sometimes, Christmas Eve we usually close early and that kind of stuff, and New Year's as well. And this year both Christmas and New Year's fall on a Sunday. So we are working. We don't have a lot of days off, though we did decide to take the Monday after New Year's as a holiday. But we always work on Christmas Eve because some people still need to come in and pick up their gifts or bring something in at the last minute. So we like to be there so that people can get their Christmas gifts and make everybody's holiday as bright as we can in any way that we can. So that is that's our schedule. So this year I was telling the staff, hey, we're giving you Christmas Day off, which was kind of funny since it's a Sunday and they were already off. So but anyway, welcome to Lunchtime Live with Sharon Galluzzo. And today's topic is don't get stuck, start. I know it's kind of a weird topic, but I was having trouble putting into words what I was thinking, and I wanted it to be short so that it wouldn't be this really long run-on sentence about what I've been thinking about. So the reason I picked the topic today is because a lot of times I pick things based on what I'm going through, and so this past week has been really long for our family, and so we've been traveling and things are not where they normally are. So it's really easy whenever you have your own business to get sort of stuck, where you stop doing something because something comes up. There's a family emergency, or there's a business, there's a trip, or there's, somebody comes to visit, or there's something going on that stops you from doing what you typically do, sort of interrupts your momentum. And when we stop doing it, at first we stopped for a good reason. There was a really good reason to take a break and to not do this thing on this day. But what happens for me, and I'm going to talk from personally and not assume that this happens for you, but if it does happen for you, then, you can relate with me. And if it doesn't happen for you, it might be good for you to understand the perspective of someone else. So I find that whenever I have stopped doing something for whatever reason, I stopped going to the gym, I stopped going to this, a social activity, or I stopped doing networking in my business, or I stopped doing something, it's so easy for us to continue to be in that mode of pause and to just keep going, well, I'll just put that off till the next time. And oh, I missed last week, so it's okay if I miss this week. And for me, this Lunchtime Live, there have been a couple times where it's been really hard for me to do it, but I had made a commitment to myself that I was going to come on live on Tuesday every day at noon and do this video. And it's my commitment that I'm keeping to myself. And so many times as people and as business owners, those are the agreements that we kind of let slide when we make an agreement with ourselves. Oh, well, I'll just do it tomorrow. So the fact also that this is public and you'll know if I skip, that kind of helps me as well. But when we stop doing something, even when we stop for a really good reason, it's so hard to get started again. We make excuses, we put it off, we just, it kind of, well, I missed it last week, so our mind kind of just lets us sort of slide a little bit, and then it does something really funny. It will start to almost build a resistance to going back to it, even if it's good for you, even if it's good for your business, even if it's something that you want to do. I will find that once I stop doing something, the getting started doing it again is almost painful. It takes so much energy and so much force to get through and say, I'm going to continue to do, I'm going to start doing it again. I want to shout out to Tina. She popped on a couple seconds ago while I was in mid-sentence. So, hey, Tina. I get to the point where when I've stopped doing something to restart and get moving again can sometimes be a real difficult thing. So I know that about myself, and I have put things in place to sort of push me along. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I always do it in all areas of my life, but I do try. And Tina, thank you for that compliment. She said, I'm a great example of commitment and consistency. It's work. It is work to do that. And so this week, as my example, we were driving home and I had my phone, and so I was looking at Facebook and I'm like, oh, today's the day I'm supposed to promote my business in this particular group. Oh, it's been such a rough week and I don't really want to do it. I'll do it later. I'll do it next week. And as I was scrolling through that particular group, I saw someone else who had posted something like she wanted to have people like her group, or her page on Facebook or something. And I thought, you know what? I'm riding in a car. That's not a difficult thing to do. Why don't I at least do that one thing? And so while I was riding in the car, I typed a quick post and said, hey, it's been a tough week for my family. We've been traveling and, it was really easy for me to skip today, but I'm going to power through. And if you would like my page, the Sharon Galluzzo page that we're on now, so if anybody wants to like my page, I set a really crazy goal for myself by the end of the year. I'll share that with you in a minute. But I shared that on there and I said, I'm going to take this step. I'm going to start. I'm going to get over my mental walls that I've built up to say, oh, it's okay. I can do it next week. I can do it next week. So I pushed myself and I did something. It was small. It was tiny. It wasn't huge, but it was something. And getting started and doing that one little something can start the momentum to building back to that thing. A book that I really like, business book, it's called Good to Great, and it actually talks about really huge businesses. It talks about Coca-Cola and McDonald's and all those big corporations. But I love some of the concepts that are in that book, and my favorite is the flywheel concept. And the flywheel concept is that you have this gigantic, huge, heavy flywheel. And apologies if my paraphrase is not exactly right, but this is how I remember it. It's this huge, gigantic, heavy flywheel, and you have to push it. And to get it going, it is... she says I'm breaking up today, so I'll keep going, but hopefully you can hear me. I didn't have any notifications of that. But you're pushing this giant flywheel, and it's really hard, and you're pushing, and you're pushing, and you're pushing, and you're pushing, and it's finally you go all the way around, you've got one revolution. That one revolution was hugely difficult to get. but you keep going and you push it again on that second revolution, and that second revolution is really, really hard. But what you start to notice as you continue to move that heavy flywheel around is that eventually it starts to get a little easier because it's picking up momentum, and as the more you go, the faster and easier it becomes, until it just becomes this thing that moves almost on its own. And so when you build up that momentum and you have that momentum, it's really easy to, if you have to step away, to just pull back in, do one little small thing, and you'll pick that momentum back up, and you'll pick it up, and you'll keep going. And so I love that concept, because so many times, especially in our own businesses, we will push that flywheel and we'll get it all the way around one time, and we'll be like, that was too hard. I can't do it anymore. That was ridiculous. Didn't work. I'm going to do something else. And so instead of continuing on that path, we push that flywheel around again one time, and then we stop and we do something else, so that we are never ever building up the momentum that we need to keep us going. So even when things get tough, even when things are hard and you need to step away or whatever, get over that mental block that your brain creates for you. That it's for me, that's what it is. It's a mental thing where I'm just like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll procrastinate. I'll put that off. So I really have to, and the longer you put it off, the harder and more difficult it is, the higher that wall gets that you have to climb over so that you can do the things that you know you need to do. So try to keep that moving and going. When we have a job where we have to show up, like I had to go to work today at the studio, so I got out of bed. It didn't matter that I'm still really tired. Even after a really good night's sleep last night, this morning I'm just like, oh, I really could just go back to bed today. I had to be at work. But when we're in our own businesses and we're our own bosses and we don't have anybody depending on us being there, it is so simple to just say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. And the longer we put it off, the longer we push it forward, the less likely we are to start. And when we do start, the more difficult it becomes, because for whatever reason, once you stop doing it, it's harder to jump back in and do it again. So I said that I would share with you my crazy goal for my Facebook page. Someone else had put, oh, we're going to get 1,000 likes by such and such a date. So I was like, oh, I'll say 500. Yeah, 500. That's what I'm going to do. And then I said, you know what? I'll do 1,000. By the end of the year, I want to have 1,000 likes on my Facebook page. That's kind of a crazy goal, being that it is 1 week from Christmas. So the month is almost over, the year is almost over. But you know what? Saying 500 didn't quite motivate me enough. So I set a goal that was a little bit crazy, and if I can get to that goal, I will really feel like I did something. So for me, that was a big motivator to go from, I had to take a break and I'd stepped away from everything, back into giving something that's going to energize me and push me forward, that crazy goal. For me, that's a good motivator. So what in your business can you put in place whenever you have to step back into something after you've been away a while? What can you do to motivate yourself, to give yourself a little bit of a jump and a little bit of a challenge so that you can go into the next year, into the next month, whatever, get back in and, move your business forward. Hi, Peter. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. The difficulty of once you stop doing something, the difficulty of getting started again, and how easy it is to get stuck whenever you whenever you have to pause. Sometimes we pause for things outside of our control, and sometimes we pause because we've maybe hit the wall and we aren't able to move forward for whatever reason. When I was writing the book, I wrote it in the fall of last year, and then I got really busy with Christmas, and I thought I was done, and I had put it aside, and I really didn't look at it for a while. And then I pulled it back out and looked at it and went, oh, well, yeah, I really need to do some more work on this. And then I was able to go back to it and do the work. But that pause actually was a good pause, because I needed that time to to get far enough away from it so I didn't remember what I wrote, so that when I read it again, I was like, oh, then you could see sort of the holes and the flaws and stuff. So sometimes stepping away is good, but we have to have a plan in place so that we remember to step back in and start over again. So my encouragement for you today is don't get stuck. It's okay if you stopped. It's okay if you had to stop. It's okay if you stopped for any reason whatsoever. Get started again, and be encouraged that once you take that first step, it becomes easier and easier and easier. It's always that first step that seems to be the roadblock for me. So I encourage you to take that step. It's a week before Christmas. That's okay. You still have a week before Christmas. If you've decided that this is your break time, relax, enjoy it. Don't feel guilty about it. But as soon as your break is over, step back in, get back in the game, keep moving forward, keep your business going, and I will I encourage you. I know you can do it. I believe in you, and I just wanted to share that message with you today. As a reminder, just in case you've forgotten, I do have a book, Legendary Business From Rats to Riches. It is available on Amazon. It is actually an Amazon bestseller, and I'd love for you to read it. If you have a business, it's a great gift for yourself for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate. It's a great gift for yourself. It's a great gift for someone that you know that has a business. It's a very short, fun read. My cousin called me the other day and he said, I have your book. I'm reading it. I don't read. Yes, but it's short enough that he can read a little bit, and then another time he can read a little bit, and so it's not something that it's not a big heavy tome that's going to take you months to get through. But the feedback that we've gotten from it is that people are hanging on to it and referring back to it. So there are things in there they're like, oh, I want to remember that piece, so I'm going to look back at the book, and so that makes me feel really good that people are finding it to be valuable, and also to be valuable over time. So if you would like to take go to Amazon, you can grab the hard copy. There's also a digital version available, the Kindle book. And if you don't have a Kindle, you can actually read it for free on Amazon. Amazon has a cloud reader that you can utilize. So thank you so much. I will see you after Christmas. So, and I believe Hanukkah starts around Christmas again this year. So I will see you after Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. I'm not sure where that falls this year. But I will see you next Tuesday. So it will be between Christmas and New Year's next week. And we'll have another something to talk about next week. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.